Hi, everybody on YouTube. Hi, everybody on YouTube. I hope you guys can hear me and see me. I'm in hotel open Wi Fi internet, which may not be the best internet. So hopefully it's not too choppy, too horrible. Let me get the Instagram people going. Um, let's see, get those going. We'll see how it goes. Oh, hi, Instagram people. Um, YouTube people, Instagram people. I'm in New Orleans right now. I'm not doing it from Los Angeles today. So I'm very excited to be in this super magical city, really magical, really spiritual. I mean, I'm a spiritualist, I'm a magical person, and this city, there's a lot of cities that are magical cities, but there's no other city like New Orleans. And I just love it here. And it's got such a amazing vibe to it. And I've been having an amazing time, music and amazing food and fun and magic and witchcraft stuff and tarot stuff everywhere. It's been really, really cool. So anyway, so welcome. I'm glad you're here with me. It's not the glamorous, well, I don't think my backyard's, it's not the beautiful nature background. We have a hotel room because couldn't really do it. I'd love to be able to do it out on the street, but way too many distractions for my ADD brain. I'd be like, wait, there's a person in a costume over there. Wait, there's a drunk person over there. Wait, there's a band over there. So the serenity of the hotel room is where it's at. Plus I've got the internet so I can connect to you guys on both YouTube and Instagram. So type in your questions. While you're doing that, I'll tell you a little bit about what I've been doing here. But I had my friend Chelsea and I, she might pop in later on during our hour here together today. We'll see if she does. But she and I were down here to have a booth at an event called Hex Fest. And we had a booth where we were selling, and we met some amazing other people who were selling here too. We saw Which Ways magazine. We had Three Crows Conjure. We met them. Who else? There was just amazing friends and people and connecting with people. It was just a beautiful, beautiful time to get together with community, teachers, meet new people. It was very, very beautiful for that. And it makes me super excited for PantheaCon, which is in San Jose in February. I'm going to be presenting, hopefully there, along with Judica Illis and Mary Kay Greer on tarot cards. So we've got that pitched, and I've got another friend, Jim Barker, who I met here, who's an amazing palmist, and he and I might do a palmistry and hands in the tarot deck, in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, and talk about the different gestures in the hands and talk about what those cards mean and in connection with the gestures of those hands. And so we had an amazing conversation. And so he and I are talking about doing some classes. He's up in Seattle. He's Jim Barker, and he's an amazing palmist. And so he and I are talking about doing something up in Seattle and maybe something down in LA, and then maybe something for PantheaCon in February. So if you are at all interested in going to a magical, really, really cool festival and gathering of people who are interested in magic and tarot and all different, I mean, it's so inclusive and all different paths and all different traditions. PantheaCon's where it's at. So come on down to that one, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you for that one. So anyway, so here I was signing some books and selling some of my stuff. And if you go onto my Instagram account, you'll see some pictures of the stuff that we were selling. And Chelsea and I we're really wonderful friends, and we had an amazing time. And we have a new business. So I have my Parlor of Wonders, Madame Pamita thing that I'm doing on my own with, of course, my assistants, Bridget and Marlene, who helped me earn like my right hand. But Chelsea and Romy and I are doing another side business of magic called Magic Everywhere. And it's magic with MAGICK everywhere. And it's beautifully designed, gorgeous spell kits and some jewelry and some other cool stuff. The website isn't up yet, but you can find us on Instagram, and there's an Instagram account with some pictures of what we're selling there. So it's just a fledgling little company that I'm starting with them, but it's super cool and really accessible and really fun. We want to make magic accessible to just average people who aren't, esoteric people who aren't like tapped into the magic community. And so that's what Magic Everywhere is about. So go check that out. A couple things on the horizon. I want to let you guys know a new free intro to tarot, online free intro to tarot is coming at you Sunday, the 26th of August on, if you want to sign up for it, it's 11 a.m. Pacific time. It's going to be me giving a live talk and live interactive talk with you guys about tarot and tarot reading. And that's going to be on August 26th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. It doesn't cost anything. If you're a beginning tarot reader, if you're an advanced tarot reader, come on down and join us, because this is going to be an amazing thing. I've got a beginning tarot class starting September 2nd, I think it is. I don't have any of the dates. I've had a glass of wine, so I'm a little tipsy. So, bear with me. But so we're going to have on the Sunday, whatever that first Sunday of September is, I've got a new beginning tarot class. Our first online tarot class was amazing, you guys. I love teaching. I am hugely in love with teaching. I'm hugely in love with empowering guys. I mean, I think you guys know that from the videos I do, these talks that I do. I just love teaching people how to empower themselves to do their own work. And tarot is one of these amazing tools that I feel like, I always, when I was younger, wished I could be a tarot reader and wanted to learn how to read so much when I was a little girl. And in early teens, I was looking at books all trying to memorize the cards. And so knowing that if you are someone who has a desire to learn divination, which is such an amazing tool to build your intuition, it's not that hard to learn. And I can teach you. And I've taken many, many students in my live environment from being very, very stone cold beginners to now being professional readers. I've got tons of readers in the LA area that came from me. They learned from me, and now they're doing it professionally. And people that have learned it just for their own fun, for their own enlightenment, to have that tool for themselves and their own intuition to read for their friends and family. Learning tarot is an amazing, amazing, amazing talent to have, and it doesn't take a gift. Anyone can learn it. So if you are interested in learning it, please, please come to the free intro on the 26th, and then know that I'm having a class starting on the first Sunday of September. So you want to be a part of that, because we have the most amazing time. My tarot students will tell you we have a lot of fun. You get to, the amazing thing about this online class is that you can interact with one another. I have a system, it's called Zoom meetings, and we can meet together as a classroom, just like we're in a real classroom. I'm there talking to you. It's not pre-recorded. It's all live. It's all me and you talking like we're in a regular classroom. And then I can break you off into smaller groups, pairs and small groups, where you can talk to one another just like we're in a regular classroom. And that was the thing that I thought I know it is absolutely essential for you to be a tarot reader. You have to be able to practice, and you have to be able to practice in a place that's supportive, that you don't feel pushed, or you don't feel like, oh my God, can I do this? When you're with other students and you're practicing and you're both beginners, it's so easy. It's so, you're given a lot of comfort and a lot of ease about doing that practice of reading when you're just learning and just getting your little wobbly Bambi legs going as far as being a reader. So I encourage you to come to the free intro. There's no obligation. Come to the free intro, check it out. See you'll get a sort of a flavor for what it's like being in the class, and then maybe you'll want to join me for the beginning class starting in September. Got another thing coming up too. I've got a live in-person retreat happening at my shop in January 7th through 11th. It's a 5-day intensive magic retreat where we're going to be doing hands-on magic over the course of 5 days. Got a community of people coming out for that. So you want to be involved in that. Sign up. I don't have the buttons up yet to purchase it, but you can sign up on the list for that. Sign up on the list for the free intro. All of that is available on my site, parlorofwonders.com, under instructions, and check out that under the Academy of Magical Arts, and you'll see all the stuff that we have going on. Advanced courses. We got advanced courses already started. We've probably got another advanced course deep into the fall. We'll have another advanced course. And we've got this retreat coming up. So if you want to learn magic with me and you want to come to Los Angeles, or you live in the Los Angeles area, now is your opportunity. Just two more things, and then we'll get started with the questions. I'm going to be coming to Denver. I'm coming to you November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I'm going to be at Ritual Craft. 2nd, I'm going to be teaching a class on doing magic spells with tarot cards. And then the 3rd and 4th, I'll be doing readings. And New York City, I will be coming to you. I'll be at Catland in Brooklyn on the 10th, 11th, and 12th of October, the 12th, I'm going to be teaching a class on doing magic spells with the tarot. And then the 10th and 11th, I'll be doing readings. If you want to find out more info about that, go on to my site and look under author, under the author thing about my book. Go scroll to the bottom and you'll see more about those two events that are coming up. So, all right, let's get to the questions. I saw some questions over on, first I saw Gypsy Moon popping up over on YouTube. So let's get over there. Hi, Gypsy Moon. She's sending love from Miami. Hi. Paola's there. And Wendy has a question. How accurate are tarot readings? And do the answers come from spirits? If we had a good outcome, what can we do to not change it? Okay, so let's talk about what we're doing when we're doing a tarot reading. When we're doing a tarot reading, we're looking, I like to sort of liken it to having a map, right? So if you have Google Maps or, Waze or whatever, I mean, this is a big thing for us in LA. We drive a lot. You use those maps and they show you the fastest way to get to your destination. You want to get from, your house to Dodger Stadium to go see a baseball game. What's the fastest way to get there? How long is it going to take you? What do you want to avoid? And so on. Sometimes it's the freeway, sometimes it's the streets, right? Now, as a driver, have a choice. Sometimes I do this when I'm driving. I'll go like, I think I know a sneaky, faster way than Waze, or I think I can outsmart and get maybe shave off a minute or two, and I'll take this route. But if there's some kind of accident or some kind of stoppage, you can see it in that map, and they'll send you another way. So the same thing happens with tarot. Tarot is like a roadmap showing you what's ahead. So whenever you see a reading, let's say, that shows you some good things, then you want to take advantage of those opportunities. You want to focus on those things and give some effort to those things. And the same thing is if you see something in a tarot reading that isn't very good, you want to avoid those things. So whenever you go to a reader, I mean, this is the style of reading I do. We look at that map, and I, as sort of the translator of that map, I'm going to show you what it is that you can do and what it is that you want to avoid and how to get around this. So, for example, I just had a reading recently with someone, and she asked a question about her health, and some cards that were some pretty intense cards came up. So we had a conversation about her health and her health issues, and really it was a message that was saying to her that she needs to pay attention to her health, and she can't just ignore those health issues anymore. She has to do something about those health issues to avoid this outcome that didn't look very good. So it isn't we don't look at, the idea that there's a destiny that you cannot avoid. Sometimes there are strong streams of energy in a certain direction, but we have something that is called free will. We have the option, we have the opportunity to make choices at any given point. Now, there may be strong streams of some direction. I mean, I think we've all seen this sort of thing in people that we've known or people that we see, and we go, oh, that person has headed for that outcome. We can see it so clearly. Our intuition is telling us that they're going down a road that's going to lead to something very bad, or they're on a road that's going to lead to something very good. Like I think about, like, I see some kids, for example, young people, and I go, oh, that one has something really special. They've got a lot of drive, a lot of determination, a lot of positivity and optimism. They look like they're going to be a success in life. And I think we know, just sensing from what we see about them, that they have a lot of that special something that's going to lead them to success. Likewise, we've seen people who are, abusing themselves or wallowing in addictions or wallowing in their own emotions and not doing anything positive about their life. And we see they're going down a road that isn't so good. So we do sometimes see those strong streams in a reading that look almost like destiny, like, oh, it's really going in this direction. But at any point, we as individuals have the choice of making a different choice than that path of good or that path of bad, whatever we see. So when we're looking at a reading, we're looking at that. When I'm doing a reading with a client, I get a lot of information that I'm seeing from the cards, which is opening up my intuition, like opening up messages, but I'm also getting messages from my guides. And I do readings, which are called spirit guide readings where we're getting messages directly from the guides without even using cards. So even in a tarot reading where we're looking at the cards, I will get messages from my guides often where they'll say things that they want to say about the situation. And then we'll also get the information from the cards. So is it coming from spirit or is it coming from ourselves? I think it's a little combination of both, depending on how spirit connected you are. I'm a spiritualist myself, so I'm very spirit connected. So I get lots and lots of messages from the clients' guides, from my guides, and so on. But even if you're not a spiritualist, even if you don't connect with your spirit guides, you can still get a message from the cards and your intuition as well. So it's just sort of different styles, kind of different ways. And I think that if you go to a lot of readers, you'll see a lot of varying kinds of styles and how people read. But it's always, in my opinion, always like a roadmap showing you what's up ahead. And you can make the decision to go down that road if it's something you want and something positive, or you can do something else, choose to do something else if it's something that you want to avoid. That's why we have it. It's just like, who doesn't love Waze, or Google Maps to show you where to go and how to get there the fastest? I love it. It's a huge thing for me. So I think that's something that's very powerful. That's why we get a reading. That's why most readers go to other readers so they can have that objective opinion when they want to have a reading about something that's important to them. So let's look over on Instagram and see who we've got over here. Tons of people showing up. Hi, everybody. Hello. We've got White Hellbore has a question. What do you do with buried spell remains when you want to move out of your house? Well, that's a good question. So usually when you have a spell where you want to keep something, we bury it on our property. So let's talk about that first. If you're doing a spell where you want to bring someone to you, for example, you can do a spell, let's say to bring a new love into your life, or let's say to bring and keep, or to keep a love that you have at home and with you. If you're bringing someone new in, you're inviting someone new in, where do they usually come when you invite them in? They come in your front door, right? So we bury the remains traditionally in Hoodoo tradition. We bury it at the front door. We bury it in the front yard so that we invite somebody new in. Or if we want some new opportunity, we would put it at the front door. If we've already have something good and we want to keep it, then we would bury that in our backyard to keep it in our home, to keep it there. You have a partner already and you want to keep that partner there. You have some good luck and you want to keep your good luck. You have a good job or some good prosperity, abundance flow. You want to keep it there. Then you would bury it in your backyard. So what do we do when we move? Well, there's a kind of, I think for practicality purposes, you leave it where it is. You've used that. And then when you get to your new place, you would just do that spell to keep what you have or to invite something new in and, bury it in your yard there. But there's also another way that we can deal with spell remains. We can do things like, for example, we can leave spell remains at a crossroads. A crossroads is a road where a place where two roads meet. So any intersection where two roads cross, there's a crossroads like that. And in the center of that crossroads, you can leave your remains of your spell and either send it out because you're sending it away to another place far away, or send it out there like a message. So, it's not just getting rid of stuff that we do at the crossroads. We can make agreements with spirit at the crossroads, and we can do a lot of things at the crossroads. The crossroads is a magical place, where those two roads meet. So that's something that you can do with spell remains, and it doesn't involve burying at all. I think for practicality purposes, if I were going to move, I would just, leave that stuff there wherever I buried it. And when I got to my new place, if I had that great partner, I would do another spell to keep that great partner and bury that remains in my backyard. Or if I wanted to invite prosperity, I would do that prosperity spell and bury it in my front yard to invite more prosperity in. So it isn't, to me, it isn't like, for most situations, you're not just going to burn one candle and that's the only candle you're going to burn on, or that's the only spell you're going to do on that situation. I do, for example, prosperity spells, love spells for myself, and I do them on a, fairly regular basis, keeping that energy going, keeping that energy up. I don't take it for granted that, okay, well, I've got my relationship, so I don't need to do any more spell work about that, or I've got my prosperity, so I don't need to do any more spell work about that. No, I want to keep that energy going. So every once in a while I'll get an inspiration and I'll do a little spell to keep those good things coming, to keep the luck coming, or add a little different flavor to it or a different energy to it. So then your one spell isn't such a big precious, like, oh my God, I did this one spell and I buried it. I would just, I would take it and do another one when I got to my new place and leave the one where I did before there and just get the fresher, newer one at the new place where I moved. So that's how I would do it. And you might hear something different from someone else, but I always like to say I'm a kind of a lazy witch. I want to do everything easy. I don't want to be digging up spells, reburying things and doing that kind of stuff. This is too much work. So, another kind of little side point on this too. Here's another kind of workaround for this. When people live in apartment buildings, for example, they may not have the option, or if you live in a city where there's just cement all around, you may not have the option of burying a spell. Of course, you can always leave it in the crossroads. But another way to work with that is to get a potted plant and to leave your spell remains in that potted plant. Then when you move, you just take that potted plant with you when you move, and then problem solved right there. So just another option on what to do with that spell remains. There's all kinds of things. I talk a lot about spell remains. I have a video talking about what to do with spell remains, how to make talismans out of your candle spell remains. I talk about it on the candle how-to guide on my website. So look under instruction and you'll see lots of information about what to do when spells are complete and how to deal with that. Okay. But there's more options than just burying it, but bury it if you think you're going to move, if you're not going to live in a place for a long time, then bury it in a potted plant and you can take the potted plant with you. That's problem solved. All right. Let's look over at YouTube and see what we've got. Hi, Paula. And, Robert, it's very funny. Robert Gallagher says, I'm here. You can start now. Cute. All right. So Vivian says, hi, Madam Pamita. I'd like to know how to overcome the negative intentions of others, especially if the person helping to cast the spell does not support my desired outcome. I'm kind of not clear about what you're saying, but if you are saying that you're having somebody that's in your world that is working against you energetically, like maybe you have a coworker who's like, has a bad attitude with you, or if you're having somebody cast a spell for you who isn't really supportive of your outcome. If you're having somebody working on your behalf, like you're paying them and they're not supporting your outcome, then that might not be the right person to do it. Maybe you need to do the work yourself. The other thing I would say is, if you're you're working in a circle with people and some of the people aren't supporting your outcome, again, I would just say work on your own maybe, or find someone who is supportive of your outcome working with you. It's going to dampen things. I mean, like definitely having somebody that's like jealous. Let's say I'm going to put out an example. Somebody who's you're working on your prosperity and you're working on your success, and somebody's a little jealous of you or thinks that the choice that you're making on how to make that prosperity or how to have that success isn't a good choice. I don't think you should do that. They're kind of raining on your parade. I don't think they're going to block your thing unless they're somebody that's actively like working against you. I think but there is definitely a dampening effect of the success or the success of your spell if someone's just kind of like, I don't think that's a good choice, or if like you're doing love work and they're like, you don't have a good girlfriend or a good boyfriend or whoever. So I would start to just do the work myself. If that were the case, I don't think I don't know that you have to do clearing or cleansing necessarily. You could do it if you wanted to sort of clear and cleanse the situation and then do your own work, but maybe doing work on yourself on your own is probably the best thing to do. And you can find how to do work if you go on to my website, go to instruction, go to parlorofwonders.com, go to instruction, go to how-to videos. There's tons of videos on how to do spells. I teach you, there's how-to guides, how to do spell work. So there's tons of information on how you can do it yourself. And then maybe just start there and don't get involved with having people that aren't supportive of your success helping you with this stuff. Maybe maybe that answers your question. I don't know. All right, guys, let's see. Everybody over at Instagram, hello. Julie says, I know I need to go to New Orleans also. Um, so many cute, all these cute emojis. Um, all right, so Lucy Chen, Fine Art on Instagram says, I have a question. Can you use 2 or more mojo bags at the same time? How do you decide what strength you need? Thanks. Okay, so with mojo bags are a great topic that we don't really talk about a lot, actually. What a mojo bag is a little bag that has artifacts, herbs, talismans, and it's something that you carry with you and you carry secretly with you. Mojo bags come to us from the African American hoodoo tradition. There are, we see charm bags and gree bags and things like that, but they really, when we look at a super traditional, straightforward, straight ahead mojo bag, that comes to us from the hoodoo tradition. So what we can think of in that, what is a mojo bag? Like, what is it? I think of it as being like a little spell altar that you contain and you carry with you. And by putting that, like carrying it with you, you're carrying the energy of that spell with you wherever you go. And it has some kind of interesting effect when you do that. It's like having a support with you wherever you go in terms of your outcome. So it's, if you want to attract a new love, it can bring, more love into your life. If you want to have more prosperity or more luck, it can bring those things into your life. You want protection, it can bring that into your life as well. So when we think of like mojo bags, it's about carrying the energy of that. Now, some people do mojo bags where they combine things, just like we can do when we do a custom spell. Like I sometimes, I have on my site custom vigil candles that I do, and I have custom complex spells that I do, because sometimes you have more than one thing that kind of fit together, and they can be done actually magically together. Now, where I draw the line is I say you don't probably want to do a spell for clearing out something and bringing something in the same candle or in the same mojo bag, because one is a kind of pushing away energy and the other one is a drawing energy. So where I divide things up is like, if you're doing a clearing kind of energy, keep that in one candle spell or keep that in one mojo bag, keep that in one action. But if you want to bring in something, then you can, let's say you want to bring prosperity and you want to bring in love, you can work with one mojo bag for those things. So if you have more than one issue of what it is that you want to bring in, which is most mojo bags are about bringing in something, you can do that in one mojo bag. You can have a love and prosperity, or love, luck, and success, or whatever you want to have in one mojo bag. But if you have actually now 2 mojo bags, sometimes people have mojo bags that they use only on specific occasions. So maybe you have a mojo bag for attracting your soulmate or attracting your mate or attracting a sexual partner, for example. Then you might just use that mojo bag when you go out. I mean, you could wear it around the house, but it's kind of like, if you're around the house by yourself, there's kind of no point. But if you are going out for a night on the town, yes, you can wear that mojo bag and really attract that attention and attract that sexual chemistry and all of that stuff. Or maybe I'll tell you about my personal mojo bags. I have one mojo bag that's just for going to the horse races. It's a luck mojo bag. It's a gambling luck mojo bag. And I only wear it when I go to the horse races. I feed it, I take care of it, but I don't wear it every day because I'm not gambling every day. I only gamble once or twice a year. It's, something I do for fun, but I used it and it works great. So like, I want to bring it with me when I go to the races so that I have that good luck and I have some winnings and I come back with more than I went in with. So you sometimes have mojo bags that are just for a particular topic that you only are going to use on occasion. And that, you can add or wear, or, just for that occasion. But if there's something that you want to build up every day that you're working on every day, let's say for prosperity, and you want that prosperity to flow every day, you can wear that mojo bag every day. If you have more than one topic, then you might consider combining mojo bags or getting a custom mojo bag that has all of those things. And when you get a custom mojo bag, I pick out the herbs that are for the intentions that you're putting out there. Sometimes there's herbs that cross over, like patchouli, for example, is great for love, and it is also great for prosperity. And you can bring those two together in a mojo bag by having patchouli in your mojo bag, because it's going to help address the attraction and the love, and attraction in the prosperity. But we can also customize for whatever things that you want. So, if you want to do that, or you want to make your own mojo bag, you can mix things together, mix intentions together, as long as the divide up into things that you're bringing in or things that you're clearing out. So that's, I would say, really, you only need two maximum mojo bags, because if you are clearing away negativity, you put that in one mojo bag, and bringing in, whatever things you want, that would be a separate mojo bag. Could you wear more if you wanted to wear a love one and a prosperity one and a luck one and a protection one and a clearing out? Sure, you can wear as many as you want. But practicality wise, I mean, then you're going to look like the Michelin, the Snow Puff Marshmallow Man, because you're going to have so many mojo bags on. I mean, but you would have so many on that it becomes unwieldy. So you really only need a maximum of two, because you're doing one for bringing in and one for clearing out. And most people are doing just bringing in stuff generally with a mojo bag. So you could mix your different intentions into one mojo bag, and then you only have to do one. But there's no limit on how many you can wear. Wear 50, go, have at it if that's what you want to do. But it's not necessary, because you can combine them together. So hopefully that answered your question. Hi, Carmen. That's Pisces. My Pisces 75. Gypsy Moon. I made a spirit doll to communicate with my ancestors and guides. How long will it be till I receive messages? I don't use spirit dolls for communicating with my guides, but that's an interesting way to communicate with your guides. I generally do things like meditation, candle work, visualizations. I mean, there's all kinds of other ways to connect with guides. So I don't know if I can address having that spirit doll, because I suppose it's like a puppet, that instead of working with a real person and controlling them, you're working with spirits and controlling them. But there are a whole bunch of ways that you can work with spirit guides. I'm going to recommend that you go over to my podcast and you go down and look, and I think it's podcast 8 and 9 or 9 and 10 that are about working with spirit guides. There's 2 podcasts about working with spirit guides. And if you go over there, you can listen to those 2 podcasts. One is about how to connect with your guides. The other one is, or who your guides are. And the other one is how to connect with them. So if you want to talk about spirit guides, or you want to work with spirit guides, listen to those 2 podcasts and you'll get a ton of great information. And I have even a free spirit guided meditation, and you can get that over there too. So go over to Parlor of Wonders Instruction and go to Magic Podcast, or you can listen on iTunes or Stitcher, and you can listen to those 2 podcast episodes, and they'll tell you some different ways to do it. Generally in spirit guide work, it's like you're building a muscle. So if you were like a weightlifter, you wouldn't expect to have instantly giant muscles. You're working and working, and your muscles are getting stronger, and you're getting, bigger and stronger and leaner, and all of this, shaping your body the way you want to do it. But it's a process over time. And I would say that is the case with spirit guides. You're learning to flex that muscle of having communication. So at first you might get little forms of communication. You'll learn about that in that podcast episode, different ways that our guides communicate to us through messages and spirit. You can do it through automatic writing, all kinds of ways that you can do that. But I think the biggest key to connecting with your spirit guides is letting go of the disbelief or the belief that this is you making this up. That's huge in all intuitive work. That's huge in all spirit work. We have a tendency, our logical mind, our rational mind will sit there and say, this isn't real. You're just making this up. And it kind of squashes that intuitive sense, squashes that open spirit communication, closes off that crown chakra energy that connects us to the spirit world. So if you can just release and let go and say, okay, I'm just going to pretend that I'm talking to my guides and allow that to happen, you'll start to get much clearer messages. And I think that's really the practice. That is the biggest tip I can give you, is to release and let go of that doubt, release and let go of that voice that's saying you're just making this up or this is fake. So, all right. Let's see. We got DPV has a question. DPV says, do you have any tips on how to trust your intuition when you have chronic anxiety? I have anxiety. I deal with anxiety. And one of the things that I do is a lot of affirmations to deal with anxiety, because those are very helpful to me in reprogramming my brain. I feel like I get it with anxiety. If you are intuitive, your anxiety voice can sometimes be like so overpoweringly loud, like the worry, that I do a lot of affirmations that calm that voice down. Like, it's almost like, I could say this in this way, like your brain is creating the anxiety, right? Your intuition is like, everything's going to be okay. But your brain is like, no, it's not. There's some disaster is going to happen, right? So if you can use your brain to counteract the part of your brain that's creating the anxiety, meaning if your brain is creating the anxiety, use your brain to stop the anxiety, rewire your brain in a different direction. So when I get anxious, I use some affirmations. One of my favorite affirmations is to say, everything always works out for me, and this will work out for me too. Or another affirmation is to say, this bad thing is going to lead to something good. This terrible thing, or this, even if something, what is the worst thing that can happen? And if the worst thing that can happen isn't that bad, then I sort of release that anxiety. If you have anxiety, I think it's helpful to find out about treatments that you can get. Like, however crippling your anxiety is, you should be proactive about it, whether it's getting therapy or getting medications or working with herbs or looking at what, triggers that anxiety, and not putting yourself in that environment or having that environmental stressor that creates your anxiety. I think that's really important too, addressing it and looking at where it's coming from and how you can managing your anxiety in that way. But even when you're managing your anxiety, those thoughts will come up. And so it's kind of like acknowledging that it's something outside of you. That's how I see it. Like, I see my anxiety as like this animal that, like, okay, I need to like tame that animal, or I need to like keep that animal under control. And so I pay attention to it, but I don't see it as me. It's not part of me. So when my anxiety was going wacko, I would sit and I would go, okay, well, yeah, that emotion is happening, but that emotion isn't really me. That emotion is just my anxiety. And so I'm like going to recognize it for what it is. And I'm going to do something to treat it or get rid of it. But in the same time, I'm also going to tell myself those affirmations out loud. Everything's going to be okay. Everything always works out for me, and this will work out for me too. Anything that grounds me. So try to find those affirmations for you that work for you. I think that's one of the best things. And then you'll start to feel like your intuitive voice you'll quiet that anxiety so your intuitive voice can come forward. So hopefully that helps. I sympathize with you because I know what it feels like, but I almost like laugh at my anxiety. It's kind of like this little, I don't know, little imp. I don't know what it is. An imp that lives with me, and I'm kind of like, okay, really? All right. I get it. You're there and you're talking, but it's really not the truth. And I recognize that it's not the truth. And I sort of see it as not a part of me and not a part of my intuition and my true self. And so I can kind of keep it in its place and not let it become this monster that overtakes me, or, makes me go, makes me go with, go fearful and go within. So I hope that helps you. It just, sometimes it helps to know that there are other people that experience it. And, and I sometimes, like, I'll say this too personally, that sometimes I'll say with my anxiety, like, I'll say things to my boyfriend. I'll be like, you need to da 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 da. And I go, I know it's my anxiety talking, but this is it's going, like, I know it's that thing. So I just acknowledge that it's what that is, and just sort of remind myself it's not really the truth. So I don't know if that helps. Hopefully that helps. Affirmations help a lot with me. So try those out and see how they do. But look for treatments, see what works for you, whether it's acupuncture or therapy or medication or something like that, because there are solutions out there. For me, medication works really well and helps me to like chill that out and be what I feel like is like letting that, the truth of my joy and my happiness and my optimism come out, so that's what worked for me. So try different things and see what works for you. Okay. All right. So, okay. So Benny came in and says, I'm not sure if you're familiar with psychic Sylvia Brown. She was on Montel Williams' show for 17 years every Wednesday and super famous. She charged $850 for a 20 to 30-minute phone reading. That's a lot of money. Anyway, she's proven to be a fake, and now her fake son is taking her spot because she passed a few years ago. Anyway, she bashed tarot cards and said, unless you shuffle them and it comes out to be the same cards 100 times, then it's fake. I went mad on Pamita's rebuttal. Well, I think Sylvia Brown, I saw her, when she was on TV and, I didn't have an opinion about her one way or the other. I think $850 is a lot of money. And, if you're a millionaire, $850, fine. But it seems like a lot of money for 20 to 30 minutes of a session. She bashed tarot cards, There's going to be people that bash things and have their opinions about things. I try and be open-minded about stuff and sort of say that's not my flavor. If there's something that I see that I'm not down with, I just go, that's not my flavor. I'm not into it, or that's not my jam, or I don't know about that, or I don't roll that way, or whatever. But I don't tend to bash other things that, I don't do. Like, what I will bash is the people that are scammers, that are real scammers. I think maybe Sylvia Brown had a gift. I don't know, because I don't really know too much about her, but I think there is maybe some legitimacy to what she did, and that she brought a lot of comfort to people, and she may have been a good guide for some people. And maybe some people paid that $850 in that 30-minute session and had an amazing experience that really helped them, maybe they did. So, cause I don't know too much about her, I don't want to drag her through the mud. But what I do object to is people not demonstrating that they're doing the work, that they're legitimately doing the work. So if you want to talk about fakes and frauds and people that are not good people, I would recommend, if you're on, especially people on Instagram and YouTube people, if you go over to Instagram, there's a colleague of mine who I know personally. I know this person, and this person has an account called fake_spellcasters. So it's fake underline and then spellcasters. And this person is a legitimate root worker, a legitimate person who does work. I'm not going to reveal who they are, but I know them personally. They are, what they're doing is anybody that is stealing photos or faking or fraudulently misrepresenting themselves, they are going in there and exposing these people. So it's a really great tool on Instagram for looking at who's real and who's not out there. But, even if you don't go over to fake spellcasters, you can go do your due diligence. So when you are going to work with someone, anything, it's not even just root work and spell work and readings. Find out what it is that you're getting for your money. So when you're going to, let's say have a reading, are you actually having a personal contact with that person, either phone or, Skype? Do they offer phone, Skype, face-to-face readings? That's the first thing I would look for in terms of readings, because just an email reading could be something that they cut and pasted from somewhere else, or that they went online and looked up let's say they did a tarot reading for you. They could just look up online the meanings of the cards, even if they pulled the cards. If they pulled the cards, you have no way of knowing. Now, I do email readings, but I actually do the email readings, and I also offer other kinds of readings. So that, to me, gives an understanding that I'm actually a legitimate person that's doing this, because if you want it, you can have it any way you want it. Maybe we live in opposite sides of the world and you don't want to deal with it. You can have an email reading if that's preferable to you. Maybe English is a second language. You want to take your time with it. You're shy or whatever. Email readings are fine. But I also offer recorded video readings, recorded audio readings. I offer face-to-face readings. I offer phone readings. I offer Skype and Google Chat and all that stuff. So there are all the options out there. So you already know that if you get an email reading, it's not just email readings that someone is offering. So Sylvia Brown was actually spending half an hour with someone. All right, it's just outrageously expensive, $850, but she's a big celebrity. So whatever. If you want to go to celebrity, doesn't mean they're more talented. They're just more famous. All right. So, but the thing that in particular, like fake spellcasters gets into is people that are really ripping people off. Meaning the rip off starts with, they take other people's photos and claim that they are their own. So there are people on Instagram that post pictures of spells. I'm one of them. I post my spells, but you can tell they're my spells because the background is always the same. The dishes are always the same. I've now started putting my name in all the photos on a picture frame in the photos. But in my older pictures, I was just like, whatever. And I didn't put anything in it. But you can always tell it's always a gray. For the last 4 years, it's been a gray velvet background. Before that, it was like a little like tapestry tablecloth, velvet burnout tablecloth that I used, but it was always repetitively the same one. And you could sort of see a consistency. It's interesting because there are people out there that spot other people using my candle spell photos, and they can tell it's my candle spell photos because they recognize that gray velvet background that I always use. So, that's how you can start to look and see, is this legitimately this person, and are they doing their own spell? Because they're all the same candles. People that steal photos will probably steal them from a lot of different places. Go on Pinterest where other people have, stolen photos and posted them or whatever. So look to first see, are the photos consistent? Then look to see if they have some kind of presence. I think another thing that really kind of irks me is there are people out there representing that they're doing teaching magic and teaching spell work and so on, but they won't show their face. And for some reason, that to me makes me feel a little, because if they're not showing their face, why are they hiding? If they're a legitimate person, if they're a teacher in particular, they should be proud enough of what they do, out enough with what they do, that they will show their face. Yes, I know we live in the country, United States, not every place. I live in Los Angeles where things are very open. Not every place is very open. But if you are going to represent yourself as a teacher, as a leader, as a helper, you should show your face. Just like you wouldn't want to go to a doctor that never saw you in person, but that only would talk to you from behind a screen. That would be bizarre. And yet people willingly give over their money to people that are not real, that aren't showing their face and aren't real. I had an experience with this, not in reading, interestingly, not in doing readings. I will only go to people that I can have some kind of contact with, or I know that they're there and they're real and legit. But I had this with hiring somebody online overseas to do some computer work for me, and they wouldn't show their face. They wouldn't meet with me on Skype online, and I hired them anyway, and they kind of ripped me off a little bit. They charged way more for what they did than what they actually did. And it was like 5 minutes of work, and they charged me for like a few hours of work. And then I found out later, and I was like, that's kind of a little bit on me, because I knew at my intuitive level something's off because this person won't show me their face. But I was like, no, it'll be okay. So when you're getting into big money and you're spending money on having someone doing spell work, or you're having somebody do that, you want to make sure that you actually have a person behind it. So they should have, this is the ideal. They have some address that you could go to, like my shop, for example. If you want to come and see your candle spell, it is in my shop. On my altar, you can come and see it anytime. It's there. It's legitimately there. I take pictures of my altars. Your candle's up on the altar and you see the candle on the altar. The other thing I think is that you need to see that your candle, if you're getting candle spells done in particular, that your name is in the picture, because anyone could just take a picture off the internet and say, oh, this is your spell I'm doing for you. Or even worse, just tell you, yeah, I'm doing a spell for you. I mean, I have many clients that say they had some spell work done. I said, well, what did they show you? Well, nothing. They just told me they were doing a spell. Really? I mean, anyone can just say, I'm doing a spell for you. If you don't see something that legitimately connects you to that spell work, I'd be a little suspicious and I wouldn't want to spend my money. Now, the same thing is you want to know upfront what you're going to get. So like if you go to the dishwasher repairman or the washing machine repairman or the plumber or somebody like that. You want to find out how much is it. My toilet's clogged. How much does it cost to unclog my toilet? Well, generally for a simple clog, it's $50. Okay. Then you have an expectation of what it's going to be. Not the plumber come over and fix my clog. And then the plumber comes over and goes, that's $350. You're like, what? You didn't have it. It's on you to find out exactly what you're getting for the money that you're spending. So all of that should be up front. All of that should be spelled out beforehand. You should have an understanding of what you're getting into before you spend any money. Now, I think the number one thing is see the person, get to know that person, have a connection to that person. Don't just send money to somebody that you is just an anonymous person posting pictures online or has an anonymous website up and that says they're going to do a reading for you and an email reading. And then you don't know if they're just copying things off the internet, just cutting and pasting. They should offer readings that are real and legit. So back to Sylvia Brown. She's asking the question, she bashed tarot cards. Unless you shuffle them and it comes out to be the same cards 100 times, then it's fake. Well, you know what? I will tell you this from my own experience is when people will come in with the same questions, or they'll go to even different readers, or I've done things where I've had one reader and I have been reading on the same person, even side by side, and we pull up cards that tell the same story. Now they may tell variations on that story, meaning one person may be looking at something and saying, oh, you know what? I'm seeing that it's really blocked. And then, this is the solution. And another person may be getting the reading. Well, I'm seeing more about why it's blocked, but they're both getting the message that the situation is blocked. I cannot, in my memory, remember a time where I had a reading where I was doing a reading with someone and I had a reading and I'm like, oh, this is really open. And the other person's like, no, this is really blocked, where we were getting opposite. We may get slight variations on it, but you're getting the same message. So you're pulling up cards that have the same flavor, but maybe different messages. So Sylvia Brown is, I think, probably someone who doesn't know about tarot and doesn't really know too much about it. So she probably can't say. I mean, I'm sure she's done readings where things have changed too, so I don't know too much about her, but I would say from my experience, I mean, I will have to say this also too. I had clients come to me and I've had a reading with them and I'm like, this, and this is what I see. And they're like, oh my God, I just had a reading with someone and they saw the same thing. And I'm like, okay, well, there's your confirmation. You got your second opinion and we're both seeing the same thing. But like going to two doctors, you can go to one doctor and one doctor is saying, you need to get a surgery. And another doctor saying, yeah, I see that same disease, but I think you can do it with some dietary changes and some exercise. I don't think you need to go to surgery. Is that one doctor and the other doctor opposing? No, they're both seeing that they're the same situation, but they may give different solutions. So, okay. So let's go over to Instagram. We only got a few more minutes. My gosh, it went really fast today, you guys, or I'm just really talky. I had that glass of wine across the street not that long ago. So hi, everybody. Okay. Zenbox is saying my connection is awful on everything today. I think it's because I'm in a hotel and there's not great internet. So I'm so sorry, you guys. I hope the video keeps pausing. I'm super sorry. I'm trying. I don't know. We'll be back at home next week. Just everybody, we'll be back at home with our good internet next week. We'll have a great session. So I'm super sorry. If you missed anything, try and go over to the YouTube replay. The replay might be okay on YouTube, we hope. It looks okay to me, but I can't tell. I'm apologizing. I thought maybe it's better to be here and try and do it in the hotel than not have one at all. But Leeds Hill saying, hi, Madam Pamita, can't wait for you to come to New York City. What's the difference? I can't wait to come to. I love New York, so I can't wait to come to. What's the difference between hoodoo and conjure? I've heard people say they do hoodoo, but not conjure. Hoodoo, I don't think that there is particularly a difference in my understanding of that terminology. But hoodoo is particularly African American magic. That is, hoodoo is very much African American culture and that folk magic that comes from African American culture. Conjure, on the other hand, I think has a broader kind of connotation that encompasses African American folk magic, but also may encompass some country like European country folk magic, meaning white people folk magic and African American magic. That's how I would interpret it, and why there may be people that are saying it's different. But I always think of conjure and hoodoo as both being hoodoo, both being African American folk magic. But some people might look at conjure as being a broader topic that encompasses some white country folk magic that kind of was happening at the same time. People have been doing folk magic all along. Folk magic is happening all the time, everywhere, has been happening. And only really in the 20th century did it sort of go underground, or people started like hiding it, or it started being not so known. But, you know, my mother and my grandmother both did folk magic all the time, because but it wasn't like I'm a witch or I'm doing something like wild and outrageous. It was like everybody was doing little superstitious things, or, you know, carrying little charms or doing little magical things. I mean, it was just sort of normal life of folk life, you know, folk magic. It was just something that was a tradition, you know, just like you blow out candles on a birthday cake. It's not like you're like going, oh, I'm doing a spell or I'm doing something magic. You're making a wish. I mean, that's sort of magical, but you're not looking at it as some weird thing. So it's not ritual magic. It's not looking at those things. But there were some people that were very into that folk magic and definitely had like an intense practice of that folk magic. But folk magic pervades every culture, everywhere. And really only in the technology-based 20th century and 21st century have we seen a separation of that, or a removal of that from the daily life of people. So I hope that answers your question. I would look at hoodoo and conjure the same. I call them the same thing. I call that African American folk magic, but some people may call conjure that all-encompassing American folk magic that encompasses white America and Black America too, and Native American and all that stuff, just sort of a more umbrella-ish term. Okay, let's look over at YouTube. Bradley says, so nice to be here. Love your wisdom videos. Thank you. Sorry for the bad connection, guys. Bradley says, keep up amazing work. Thank you so much. So sweet. Oh, Noella has a great question. How can we make a tea to enhance psychic abilities? It has to taste good. Noelia, I have a great tea for you. It's called roasted dandelion root tea. So you get roasted dandelion root. I sell roasted dandelion root, but roasted dandelion root can be had at most health food stores will have a roasted dandelion root tea. So look for dandelion root tea and make that tea. It is amazing for opening up your psychic abilities, and it tastes good. It's like kind of like a little bit like chicory coffee. It's like a weak coffee. So if you like that kind of coffee taste, but not a real strong coffee, but like a kind of a weak coffee, you can mix, you know, sugar in it to sweeten it up. There's nothing, or honey in it to sweeten it up, to make it taste even better. You could add milk to it and really make it like a nice warm drink. And that would be a beautiful tea to make. That's a lovely, easy to get, beautiful tea for opening up psychic ability. If you want to add a little star anise to your tea, star anise is also good for opening up that psychic connection. It adds a little bit of a licorice flavor if you like that. Some people don't like licorice flavor, so anise of any kind is not going to be for you. But dandelion root tea tastes great. I love coffee. I love that flavor of coffee. So for me, it tastes really good. It's like a savory flavor, but you can add some sweetener to it, some milk to it, and make it a super yummy drink. And it's good for you too. So there's 2 dandelion roots. Get roasted dandelion root, because that's the one that has a little more like, you know, kind of that coffee thing going on. All right. Over on Instagram, let's see, we got Socially Awkward Succubus. Hi. How much does size matter when using candles? Does size matter? Oh, we're almost out of time. Size only matters if you want to do a spell for a longer period of time. If you need to do a spell very quickly, you can do it very quickly with a small candle. But if you want to have that energy building and building over many days, then you want a bigger candle. So that's really the only issue with size. Some people like to do long-term votive candles. I mean, vigil candles, the novena candles that last, you know, a week long, because they really need a big push because they're pushing a rock up a hill. It's like maybe a stronger energy when you burn that, but you could burn a little candle over 7 days, or a little candle over 9 days, one each day, and have that be, you know, kind of equivalent. All right, my Instagram people, you're going to be leaving in about a minute. So thank you so much for joining me. It really went fast today for some reason. I'm going to meet my friends downstairs in the bar of the hotel. My friend Chelsea never came up, but she sent me a message and said she's down in the bar, and some other friends that I met here at the festival. And I hope to see you next week when I know our connection will be better. So sorry about the connection, you guys. I tried, but if you can watch it on YouTube later on, and you'll probably hopefully get a better connection, and you can see the answers, and fingers crossed that it turned out okay. Love seeing you guys. I love you so much. You're just the best. And I'm so glad that you get to join me on my travels here. And I'll see you next week. Hopefully I'll see you on the 26th at my free intro to tarot. And it's at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Sunday, the 26th. And you'll join me, and you can ask questions live there. I mean, we have a whole Q&A afterwards. So if you have questions about tarot, that's a perfect place to join, because you can just ask your questions right there, and I will answer all the questions. We won't have to wait. So you won't have to, miss out on getting your question answered. Bye, Instagram people. I love you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. There they go. There go the Instagram ones. YouTube people, thank you so much for joining me. I hope the connection was okay. Sorry about this crummy hotel internet. I don't know what else I can do about it. But I hope you join me also on the free live intro to tarot. If you want to do that, go over to my website, parlorofwonders.com. Go to instruction, go to Academy of the Magical Arts, or if you want a shortcut, just go to academyofthemagicalarts.com. It'll take you straight there. There's a sign up place where you sign up for the free intro, and then it'll send you an email with the link to the place to join our meeting. So you can join our Zoom meeting. Zoom is free, and it's the best. It is so fun because you get to see me. We get to interact with one another. I get to see you. You get to ask questions. You can ask questions verbally. You can ask it in chat. It's like the most amazing thing. So I hope I get to see you over there. It's really fun. And I hope if you're in Denver or you're in New York, that I get to see you for the class, or I get to see you for a reading. And you can find out about that if you go over to author under my page and sign up. Or not sign up, you just find out the information about it, okay? All right, my loves, I will see you next week with better internet connection and less alcohol, okay? All right, bye. Bye. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye.